This is Esperanza Romero
Taliah Perez,
and this is our Smart History video project. Today we are going to be discussing the marble statue of the Three Graces. And
Massa Marittima in Grosseto, Tuscany, Italy.
so the three marble statues that we see here are from the imperial period that date back to the 2nd century AD. Its culture is Roman and it's made of marble. Its classification is a stone sculpture, and there are 16 full-size Roman marble copies of this famous group that are known today. The museum's acquisition is one of the finest and best preserved examples. The three graces are beauty, mirth, and abundance. The Aphrodites are represented as nude young girls standing with their hands on each other's shoulders, the center figure facing the other two women. Large drapery-covered water jars frame these women. The graceful frieze-like poses is one of the most famous compositions known from antiquity. Where and by whom the scene was invented is not known, but it is most likely developed in the Hellenistic period, probably in the 2nd century BC. It soon became an canonic formula from representing the grace appearing in every medium and on every kind of object, from mirrors to bats. The representation derived from a famous classical statue of Aphrodite at Knidos in Western Asia Minor. Vulnerable cults devoted to the three graces existed throughout the ancient Roman world. This sculpture may have originally been placed in a garden or in public buildings such as baths. It can be dated to the Hadrianic or the early Antonine period by the form of the base and molding on its front.
All right, so for the next piece that we're looking at, it's Massa Marittima, which is found in Grosseto, Italy, which is in the region of Tuscany. Um, in the year 2000, during restoration work, a rare and important mural was uncovered at the communal bathhouse or fountain of the Tuscan town of Massa Marittima. It was not necessarily a welcome surprise, at least at first, as this painting was from the Middle Ages depicted a tree covered with fallacies. It was considered to be somehow dirty and erotic. Those who saw it as erotic looked at it as being a symbol that mirrored the reality of the water and the place. Water gives life. Phalluses give life. Isn't this a unique and interesting way to portray the life-giving properties of water? The porn comp of this, if we can call it that, saw it as being somehow deliberately obscene and thus believed that as little attention as possible needed to be drawn to it. The background of wealth and warfare is vital to the understanding of this particular mural, painted in the town's communal fountain. The mural shows a tree covered in phalluses with a number of eagles flying around it and with women underneath. The location of the mural is the first key to its importance. It was a work that was destined and intended to be seen by everyone in the town and by all visitors to the town because it was placed at the central water fountain. The water fountain alone was an extraordinary technological and sanitation feature. Most hilltop towns would have had their water source well outside the walls of the city, down the slopes of the city in a low-lying area. That meant for the inhabitants of most cities to get their water on a daily basis would have to allow for quite an excursion, carrying large jugs of water perhaps with their mules or donkeys. The actual effort involved is not slight, even as a tourist going to a place like San Gimignano, visiting their communal water source outside the town walls, walking back up the hill, carrying nothing but a camera, you'll be covered in perspiration and quite tired. Apart from that, there's another important factor when dealing with supply of water, and that's enemy invasion. As for example, with Pisa and Siena, enemies trying to attack any town would first and foremost try to besiege it. And the easiest way for anyone to get a town to fall to its knees would be to get a hold of its water supply. So it was extremely difficult for these hilltop towns and city states to safeguard their water supply from attack. The extremely unusual thing about Massa Maritima was that through this through their wealth, in particular through their technological expertise developed through the construction of galleries and shafts in mining, they were able to channel water in large quantities into the very heart of their city republic within the city walls. That meant that no one had to walk far to get large quantities of water, and this water supply would be completely safe when enemies attacked. People wouldn't have to risk kamikaze style run to get water outside the walls. So, placed in a central and prestigious location, there can be no doubt that the mural was intended for a wide audience. But what of its meaning? The fact that there is so many phalluses on display would lead one, with a modern perspective, to presume some erotic implications. Attitudes in the Middle East, though, would not have been the same. This was in the days before the fig leaf or the cleverly strategically placed veil of linen covering the nude genitalia in paintings. The nude image was not seen to be dirty, and in the case of public art, nor would it have been perceived necessarily as erotic. It would have been simply seen simply as depiction of nakedness and nothing else.